This is the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
More power to Senator Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, others who are standing up for what they campaigned upon, getting rid of the socialized health care coverage policy of Barack Obama's.
After Ted Cruz and Mike Lee stood up for us this past week, many other GOP senators caved. Yet again, the spineless jellyfish of the Republican Party are selling our liberty for politics. Today, a man who hopes to join the Cruzes and Lees of the world and fight for us. U.S. Senate candidate Steve Lonegan of New Jersey is here. During and after Ted Cruz's historic speech this past week, Governor Palin spoke about it. A brand new Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson, and just ahead our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman. Right now, he is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate in New Jersey. He's running in a special election with a rare vote in October. He's a conservative, and he's gaining steam in this race each and every day. Steve Lonegan, welcome to the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio.
Hey, it's great to be with you.
Now, Mayor, you're gaining in this race, and you know when the pairing between you and your opponent was first determined, the pundits had you losing in a landslide, but you persevered, and now things are tightening. How did you bridge the gap?
Well, hard work, the old-fashioned way, the way things I've done it. You know, I'm an old football player from high school and college. This has been 4 yards on a cloud of dust as we drive down the field from a 35-point lead to a 30 to a 24 to a 12 to a 10. So clearly the momentum is on our side. But in addition to the momentum, we have the issues. We have the Obamacare debacle, and people are angry about this, and anger is always a great motivator in an election. And I've just been working hard up and down the state of New Jersey. You know, I like retail campaigning, while my opponent, the mayor of Newark, has been out in California. And his campaign, he's brought to the Hollywood elite. And you know what? That doesn't really resonate well with the working people in New Jersey.
Now, Jersey is a blue state, so for any Republican it's tough, but here you are a real conservative, and big names like Rand Paul and Rick Perry are campaigning for you, so it shows this race is on.
Well, we have a Republican governor who is a Republican, and he won, and he's expected to win again. 6 of our 12 congressmen are Republicans, and come October 17th, we're going to have a Republican senator, so New Jersey's not going to be a blue state anymore. We're going to make it a red state. But more importantly is we're going to put New Jersey on track for economic prosperity as well as the rest of the nation. You know, this election is the only U.S. Senate race in the country between now and November of 2014. And while it may be a special election for a Senate seat, what's really on the ballot come October 16th is the Barack Obama agenda and what he's doing to our country. This is a referendum vote on the Obama agenda. And a win here for me in the conservative movement will reignite the conservative movement across the country, reignite the Tea Party movement, and send the Obama administration reeling on their big government agenda.
What separates you most from your opponent? Is it that you have the real solutions to serious problems while he has, you know, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's phone number?
Yeah, well, I'm a conservative. I believe in the core principles that this country has been built on, and that is that this is a nation built on a belief in a limited government that unleashes the unlimited potential of every American to achieve and prosper. I believe in small business, free enterprise, and the Bill of Rights. And my opponent is a far-left liberal who believes that big government is the solution to all of our problems. He wants higher taxes. In fact, this week alone, he introduced a $1.4 trillion plan to raise taxes, $1.4 trillion tax hike on America's small and medium-sized businesses. We simply cannot afford this far-left agenda. We see what it's done to Newark. Newark is a failure. They have an unemployment rate of over 14%, high school dropout rate of over 50%, and as recently as an hour ago, another shooting, death in the streets of Newark, New Jersey, just a rash of violent crime. I can't allow this failed mayor to bring his failed agenda to the national level.
You've overcome a lot of obstacles in your life, Mayor. Does that help you when it comes to work ethic?
Yeah, it does. You know, I built a successful small business. I grew up in a blue-collar union family. But conservative union members, the old-fashioned kind of Democrats. My grandparents were Italian immigrants. My dad died when I was a kid. I was raised by my Italian immigrant grandparents. I was learned to work hard to save. That's something we don't teach our kids anymore. And to stand on your own 2 feet. And that's really where I come from, and that's the values I want to represent in the U.S. Senate.
When Governor Palin was selected as John McCain's running mate, you applauded the choice. And, you know, I think about the two of you, common sense is something that I think the two of you have in common.
And Governor Palin's willingness to shake things up and say it like it is. You know, I've been criticized for being uncensored, for being too outspoken, for saying things that are controversial. But the things I speak out on and the things that are allegedly controversial resonate with Americans. And that's why I very much admire Governor Palin, because we sort of share that attribute. And sometimes you need to get out there and say what needs to be said. So you're going to see a lot of that in the next 14 days in the debates against my opponent. And especially, I know what I believe in. I know what conservatives believe in. I know what we think. And when I get down to the Senate, I'm going to say what I believe. Most of all, we're going to do what we say.
This past week, Ted Cruz delivered a 21-hour speech against Obamacare, and some Republicans very conspicuous by their absence. If you were in the Senate, would you have been there standing by Senator Cruz?
I absolutely would. I think that's the kind of leadership that we need to drive the message, to drive the debate, to drive attention to this all-important issue. I think that was heroic, and that's the kind of commitment to freedom and liberty that is so critical, you know, to our economy and to our future.
Does this election being in October, not November, offer any special challenges for you?
Well, the challenge for me is the same as the challenge for my opponent, just that I'm more well-equipped because we have such a powerful grassroots ground game, and including, by the way, and I'm very honored by this, the support of the NRA. Yes, I'm actually in New Jersey saying I have the support of the NRA, this blue state, because I want all those freedom-loving gun guys, those hunters, those fishermen, and those gun girls who want to defend themselves, to get out and work hard to defend their Bill of Rights. Our challenge is to get our voters out in a low-turnout election on a Wednesday in October. And this is about who are the people that are the most passionate about what they believe in, who are willing to work the hardest to win. And that's our base. And that's what we're going to win on October 16th. And this will be the shot heard around the world. And we will put real backbone in the Republican Party, and we will reignite the conservative movement from New Jersey.
This has to be gratifying for you, Mayor, that you talked about door-to-door and old-school politics out there, really shaking hands, meeting people, and now you see it starting to work, whereas your opponent, you know, is going the Hollywood route that people are sick of. Is it a special feeling for you that, you know, you're doing it the right way, and it's also proving to be successful so far?
It is, because, you know what, I've been grinding it out every day now for over 12 weeks. Door-to-door, going to events, going to speeches, while my opponent's been sort of lounging in California, hanging out in Hollywood. It's really kind of ridiculous, actually. It's actually insulting to the people of New Jersey, and I believe that. And I think the people in New Jersey see that. You know, on any given day, if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter or newscasts, I'll be 3, 4, 5 different counties. You know, shaking hands at the Oyster Festival in Red Bank, up at Sussex County, down in Cape May County, just getting out and meeting people on the boardwalk. And it's hard work, but over time it just says, hey, I saw this guy. He's out working. Where's the other guy? He's out in Hollywood. That's where he is. Well, you know what? California doesn't need a third senator. New Jersey needs a senator that will represent the working people of this state and of America.
You know, it reminds us of a president who's out golfing when we have things like Benghazi and the NSA and other things going on. Perhaps your opponent thinks that that is the popular thing right now, but the voters have the say in this.
And my opponent and President Obama are one and the same. I've said this over and over again. My opponent will be a rubber stamp for the entire Obama agenda.
Well, Mayor Lonegan, you mentioned you were a star football player. I know you played at William Patterson. I got to tell you, I'm announcing their game at Kean University this Saturday after your race, so feel free. You're always welcome in the booth when you're the senator-elect.
You know what? I remember playing Kean, in all those schools. It was the best time of my life was on the football field. But, you know, my website is Lonegan, LONEGAN.com, Lonegan.com. I urge your listeners to go to that site. I don't have Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Barbara Streisand and Oprah Winfrey raising money for me. It's coming from the grassroots, and we are raising it the hard way. So I need volunteers, support, and grassroots momentum.
That's a positive that you don't have some of those characters there, Mayor.
It is.
Listen, thank you so much. I spent 30 years in the Garden State. I have a lot of family there, and we, have a close connection and really excited about this. We wish you all the best, and we hope to talk to you when you are the senator-elect.
Thanks. God bless you. You will.
Take care. Head to LoneganForSenate.com. That's LONEGANFOR Senate.com for more information on this conservative that our country could really use right about now in Washington. LoneganForSenate.com. Sarah Palin endorsed Ted Cruz for his Senate run in Texas, and since he's been elected, she's continued to support him every step of the way. No wonder. He's done more in D.C. in 9 months than many have done in decades. And this past week, Ted Cruz delivered an incredible 21-hour address against Obamacare. He was joined on the floor by Mike Lee and some other GOP patriots, but many Republicans were AWOL. Sarah Palin lauded Cruz following the speech. As it went from one day into the next, she even tweeted that she sent him some caribou jerky to keep his energy up, just as she did for Rand Paul during his filibuster earlier this year. Palin tweeted that Cruz is fighting for us. She even added some pictures of Trigg and Piper watching the speech, and a great retweet of Cruz's daughters watching as their dad read them a bedtime story during his address. Ted Cruz out there to make D.C. listen. Now, while so many fearmongers try to scare Americans about a possible government shutdown, Sarah Palin summed up the possibility wonderfully, posting on Facebook and tweeting a picture that read, "If there's a government shutdown, who will spy on me, waste my money, and have contempt for me?" Well said. Don't think Obamacare's a bad thing? Tell that to the 300 employers who've reportedly cut hours to avoid Obamacare. Governor Palin highlighted an article from The Blaze that listed these companies. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page or follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA.
It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson and Kevin Scholla.
Hey, Susan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Thank you.
Well, obviously, Obamacare has been something we've been talking about again and again and again. Ted Cruz this past week, the 21-hour speech, and we've gone over a lot of this, but you have a different angle for us. This is something that reaches into perhaps aspects of our country that people don't realize, or aspects of politics that people don't realize. How does this affect your state?
Well, right now, as we know, we're coming down to 2 gubernatorial elections, one in New Jersey and one in Virginia, and the government shutdown could have an impact in the Virginia race. If you'll recall, last year when Barack Obama was up for the presidential election and the sequester was looming, the companies were federally required to let their workers know of a possible layoff, yet Barack Obama changed the rules and worked it out so that the federal workers did not receive those notices. But now we're watching the politicians try to play this, that the shutdown is going to be the Republicans' fault, but we can't seem to get our president to interface at all with Congress and with Senate on working through this issue.
And you have the Republican there, Cuccinelli, and the Democrat, McAuliffe. What are they saying as far as Obamacare? Are they steering clear of it? Are they putting their own spin on it? What have you gotten from the 2 gubernatorial hopefuls?
Well, just last week, Terry McAuliffe said that he was willing to shut down Virginia government over the expansion of Medicaid, yet now he is saying that the Tea Party that Ken Cuccinelli is allied with are the ones that want to shut down the federal government that's going to impact Virginia. So there's just a constant hypocrisy coming out of the Democrat side. Ken Cuccinelli has said very clearly that he does not want to see the government shut down over this. And really, it is the role of Congress to control the purse strings, and this is how government works. You get your president involved and negotiating, but right now we have a president unwilling to do his job. But he will negotiate and talk to Iran.
And then again, does it even matter what any of the candidates say? We just saw all of these Republican senators in Washington who campaigned on stopping Obamacare, and they all then did not vote to defund it, except for the few that did stand with Ted Cruz. So, a lot of times it's just a words game.
It is, and I think that the American people are tired of the games. And the one thing that you can say about what Ted Cruz did, it certainly brought this issue into the light, and there are more people that understand a little more about it and that they are paying attention to it. And very clearly the poll numbers indicate that the American people are not satisfied with Obamacare. We're seeing increased costs, and the president himself is the one that wants to change the rules and put off the individual mandate and some of the legislation that would go into effect because they're not ready. It's simply a disaster.
What's your take on if things get delayed for a year? Not what we wanted. Obviously, we were looking at the Ted Cruz approach. But if things did get delayed for a year, is there any way to elect, say, Republicans in the Senate, a Republican president, to go ahead and turn this around, or is it going to be past the point of return at that point?
I'm not so sure. The one thing I did think of this morning with the vote that was taken by the senators, and those senators who talk a big game about wanting to stop Obamacare, yet they voted in a different way, you do have primary elections in Mitch McConnell's district in his state. You have primary elections in Lindsey Graham's state. So I do think that this will have an impact. I'm not saying that it's going to change the outcome, but certainly it does change the narrative, and the pressure is on these leaders who are not doing what they say they're going to do.
And another point here, folks, looking ahead to 2014 or 2016, you got to remember Virginia and New Jersey, 2 gubernatorial races, plus a U.S. Senate race in New Jersey. So some things going on right now in 2013 as well. Susan, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Susan Stimson in Virginia. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week. Now, our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. One of my favorite political movies is Bulworth. Yeah, I know, it stars Warren Beatty, a liberal Democrat, but it is a very entertaining movie. After the fictional character, Senator Bulworth, speaks truth to his own party, and in this case, the Democrats, he ends up at the end of the movie getting shot by an insurance executive. Of course, Bulworth tells it the way it is throughout the entire movie, dispensing with all political correctness. And at the very end, an old black guy who has cameos throughout the movie reiterates his warning to Bulworth. Don't be a ghost, be a spirit. Don't be a ghost, be a spirit. Ted Cruz and Mike Lee are the spirits in the Republican Party. They are willing to stand up and fight for the people who sent them to Washington. They were elected because they said they would fight Obamacare. They kept their public trust. They are trying to breathe life back into the Republican Party. And not only that, they are trying to breathe life back into a totally dysfunctional Senate. How dare they stand on the floor and actually debate an idea, and in front of the American people instead of behind closed doors? The audacity! How unfortunate that the establishment ghosts that haunt the halls of the Capitol and D.C. are doing all they can to extinguish their light. The ghosts in the Republican Party were too weak and timid to stand on the floor with Ted Cruz. Just think, if all 45 GOP senators would have taken the floor to stand with him, listening to each other and engaging in debate, what a breath of fresh air that would have been. And just maybe that would reignite the Republican Party. Just imagine that. Thank goodness for Ted Cruz and Mike Lee for being spirited patriots, unafraid to fight for us. This is Sarah Steelman with SaraNet Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Commonwealth Common Sense and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to SaraNetRadio.net, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. Visit SaraNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also follow along on Twitter at SaraNet Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Susan B. Stimson, and at Sarah_Steelman. We're on Facebook, too, so like SaraNet Radio and like Kevin Scholla. Palin Patriots, our feature on SaraNet.net. There you can check out the writings from our great panel of contributors, including Martha Zoller and Bader Carmoot. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Just go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Susan Stimson, and everyone here at SaraNet Radio. Thanks to Steve Lahn again. And thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.